Right off the bat, I must say that this video is not about proving Jeff Seid's natty status. The objective today is to delve into the philosophical, or dare I say, metaphysical discussion of the benefit in believing that Jeff Seid is a natural. Of course, if you want to hear my 2 cents on why he is natty, I'll put it in the description. Lastly, I'm not here to blow smoke up Jeff's ass. I'm pretty sure a lot of women and men do that already. You can hate all you want, but Jeff is undeniably everyone's dream physique. I understand how an average Joe would automatically assume that he is on some form of performance enhancement, i.e. anabolic steroids. If you've seen what I've seen, experienced what I've experienced, and came shoulder to shoulder with physique competitors, both the natural and enhanced stage, you will realize that physical development relies entirely on your mindset and work ethic. I dedicate this video to the non-believer. Just hear me out, and this video might just flick a switch. I want to preface my message by telling you a story. The 4-minute mile. In the early 20th century, it was believed that no one can run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Elite athletes have tried to disprove this, but they're always 1 or 2 seconds shy. Experts say the conditions must be perfect in order for a human being to run the record-breaking mile. Then along came Roger Bannister, a full-time medical student who trained under less ideal circumstances. And then on May 6th, 1954, he ran the mile in 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds on a wet track when he wasn't even on the lead in the 3rd minute. To put this in perspective, the previous record was 4 minutes and 1.3 seconds, which remained untouched for 9 years until that fateful day. By 1978, more than 200 runners have run this miracle mile. Heck, even high schoolers are breaking records at their school track. Why? Because the psychological barrier's gone. There's no limiting belief anymore. People understand that it is possible if you trained hard enough. When I heard about this story, I asked myself, what are my limiting beliefs? What am I holding back from? You can only become what your mind can perceive. This is why imagination is better than knowledge. You're only a product of the stories you tell yourself. And I saw the videos, I did my research, how they ate, how they train, how they approach a set, how they visualize a muscle at the cellular level. They talk about the process of transformation, that we must think beyond physical reality. Otherwise, it will never come to fruition. So I stopped asking what if. What if they're on gear? What if I can't look like them? What if I need whey protein? What if I need creatine, supplements, and surgery? I can't look like them. Only they have the best genetics, the best gym partners, the sponsors, the money, the fame, and resources, blah, 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 myriad of excuses to validate my own inadequacy. I'm going to stop you right there. I want you to think about that last bit. Validate my own inadequacy. Does this sound familiar to you? Is this something you unknowingly project to the world? Oh, I see a lot of them on Instagram, TikTok, and what have you. It's always the same type of comments. And I've narrowed them down. First is, why do you need to lie? Why do you need to lie to your followers? It's so obvious. Or you drop this syringe emoji, or simply the syringe emoji. The most childish one is, he wouldn't win in a fight. If muscles don't count in a fight, they don't matter in a fight. Like, what fight? Are you 12? You just want to punch someone doing better than you? Another is, it's all genetics. He has the genetics. He was predetermined, preconditioned to already be like this. Fifth one is, he looks good, but... the backhanded one. Another one is, when will people understand that you're only natty now? If you've taken something in the past, you're not natty anymore. Well, that is true. Some athletes really haven't taken a thing. They just really work hard. Another one is, it's too much for me. I don't want to look like this. It's too extreme. You know how Arnold replied to someone like that? Someone told him that, I don't want to look like you. And then he said, don't worry, you never will. Or something like that. I don't know. I don't do it a good Arnold, but those are just a few comments off the top of my head. If you're one of those people who think in those terms or actually comment these things from a deep hatred, I'm calling you out. Yeah, come on. You think it's a knock on the athlete? No, brother. It's a knock on you. It exposes so much more of your insecurity, a need to put someone down, to dismiss someone's hard work, a means to validate your own inadequacy. Is that someone you genuinely choose to be? Is that how you want to approach life? Is this how little faith you have in what you can do? Because what you're doing is shortchanging yourself. You're cutting off your legs at the starting line. You've robbed yourself of a chance to soar. In other words, you have low self-efficacy. This is a theory developed by Albert Bandura. It's defined as belief in one's capabilities to organize and execute the courses of action required to produce given attainments. To demonstrate this visually, I'm going to whip out the whiteboard here. This line represents your self-efficacy. This line represents time. This line represents your self-limiting belief. I'm going to call it the pussy line. And this, let's just say this dotted line is your actual natural limit. Now, average Joe, that's person number 1. He starts over here. Now, he has the belief a ton of other athletes are not natural, that they require gear to look a certain way. Now, his goal is here. He's gonna work hard. He doesn't have much self-efficacy, so he's just gonna cruise along this line until he reaches the peak of his self-perceived limit. Now, person number 2, someone who isn't constrained by the pussy line. Let's say a teenager who is, who watched too many motivational videos and is just really amped up, you know? He can't discern yet, you know, what is natural and what isn't. So he works hard. He has very high self-efficacy. He works hard. He gives it his all. He might reach this point, but because this doesn't exist, you know, he might just plateau here for a little bit. And then he will exceed that. And as time goes by, he reaches his goal. One's self-efficacy is equivalent to one's self-efficacy. A person's self-efficacy is directly correlated to their attainable physical development. That's why it's impossible for a hater to work as hard as a dreamer. Like, you're aiming at two things, right? A hater cannot reach this because he's limited by the pussy line. He can't go like this. He can work hard. He can work hard at the start, right? He's always gonna be limited here. Even if he works really hard, no matter how hard he works, he or she works, they'll just cruise along this line. They're gonna stay there at a very low level, looking the same way, or, you know, staying at a certain type of performance. On the other hand, we have the dreamer, the one who believes the goal is right there. You know, naturally, by aiming higher, you're gonna work harder. You're gonna have a self-efficacy to go along with that. And so you're gonna aim right there. Already, this gap right here is what scares me. You're missing out. You know, this is the bridge that you have to free your mind from. So what I'm getting at is, you have to work hard at the start. Give it your all. Break this barrier. There's no pussy line, all right? There's no limiting belief. You work hard at the start. You reach this point and you enjoy most of your time, you know, most of your younger years already having that dream physique. If you're still a non-believer, you know, if you're still a hater, you're not gonna aim for this. You're not gonna aim for your natural attainable limit. You can work as hard as the dreamer, but you're always limited right here. So let's say this is the 17 to 20 year old, and this is the, let's say, 20 to 30 years old, right? What I'm trying to do is catch you. Hopefully this video reaches you. If you're 17 to 20 years old and you realize that, you know, there are things possible naturally, I want you to work hard. You know, reach that limit right now. Work as hard as you possibly can to reach your goal now. If you're someone who is 30, 25, someone like me who realized this like maybe into 5 years of training, I'm somewhere in here. I was stuck here for a while. Hopefully when you watch this video, you break through the limits and you attain your goal physique and enjoy this much time of your dream physique, right? We're trying to save time here. What I don't want you to do is still have that thing on, that pussy line there. And because you know you can't get here because of your self-imposed limit, you might work hard a little bit, you know? Or let's say you are progressively overloading, you're doing everything you can in progression, you're only ever gonna reach this. Just this point. And that's sad. That's sadness right there. Haters will never achieve success by accident. It's like a flea. The flea in the jar. Yes, that's a flea. A flea can jump 200 times its body weight. No, a flea can jump 200 times its body size. It can leap super high. But then you put it in a jar, all of a sudden, the flea can only jump as high as the jar. But in real life, there is no jar, son. You fly. You dream. You go dream big that you can reach peak physical development. Do not abide by your self-imposed limits. You can clearly see that this is the part where you're making excuses to avoid the work required of you. I'm not saying believe that you can look like them. That's delusion. The goal was never to look like him or her. The goal is to become the best version of you, where you set your own standards for aesthetics. If it's rooted in that mindset, you stop looking for validation from other people. You dictate the program and protocols for your own physique. You don't feed into the delusion that duplicating someone's program produces such and such result. Therein lies the secret that bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You develop higher self-efficacy, where you're willing to sacrifice more to get to higher ground. Freeing your mind will influence your work ethic. You begin to push through the last 3-4 reps. You do the extra 5 minutes of cardio. You wake up a little earlier so you can exercise before your 9 to 5. Just all those little daily choices. You're filling in these tiny pockets that awaken more potential you. So before you say that Jeff Seid is misleading people and giving false expectations, I used to say it's depressing that they are instilling false hope, claiming that they're natural. But what's more devastating is what if they were natural all along and you spent the last 10 years half-assed, where you could have applied yourself and became one of them.